So we're going to continue on with the B panel presentations. So I'd like to invite Karina Costin, who's our B3 Substations and Electrical Installations Australian panel convener.
Thank you, Angela. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good lunch and you can have the energy to listen to me. Yes, so my name is Karina Miana Costin, SIGRE panel APB3, substations and electrical installations. The scope of substations can be defined in very many ways. So if I was to start with a simplistic way, Rod Hughes used to tell me that substations are needed so he can put his protection panel somewhere. It's a bit more than that. If I was to look at all the reports from this morning, substation is an integrator for all the A's and all the B's. So it's a very broad scope, but at the same time it's also very strict because we're trying not to step outside our boundaries of scope. So the way to define the scope is an end-to-end. So we're looking design, development, research, development, design, construction, operation, maintenance, and ongoing life cycle. But we're also looking more and more these days, like Alex said today, we are integrating substations in the socio-economical and commercial aspects, and that brings a lot to the design of substations. And there is more and more emphasis on environmental impact. So we're seeing this, we're spending quite a lot of time these days rather than looking at the design of the substation, we're looking at the environmental impact. So in a nutshell, substations would be a combination of all the activities that will bring together all the assets in one place. So I'll give you an overview about what we've done this year. So the biggest event, of course, like everyone said, was Paris. We had a very good attendance. On the slides, you can see our program. So essentially, SCB3, it's led by Mr. Koji from Japan. We had a total 43 people attending in face-to-face and 7 people were online. We had the poster sessions, like everyone else, pretty much the same setup, poster session, group discussions. And then we have a number of workshops and tutorials. They were extremely, extremely popular. And the next slide is just quickly touching on each one. So this was our meeting, our SCB3 meeting. So I am somewhere at the back. I'm just not tall enough, but I was there. This is an overview of the Paris discussion meeting. So we had a very high attendance, and Alex had that on the slides. We had over 740 people attending face-to-face and also a number online. At the discussion meeting, we had a number of papers. Just to make a comment that every preferential subject was addressed. So we had 3 preferential subjects, and preferential subject 3 was a joint venture with B5. About 27 papers were just about IEC 61850. So a lot of that. So like someone mentioned today that 100 years ago we were talking about various aspects of design. 20 years ago, we were talking about IEC 61850, and we continue talking about IEC 61850. So, in summary, the discussion meeting was a success. We also introduced a new element in substations, and this is the training course. I'm not really sure how it will work from a commercial point of view, but we have very passionate people in SCB3 that have put together a package for going to places and delivering this substation course. So if you wanted to know more details, I'm happy to talk to you offline. This is just a pic from the tutorial on non-SF6 gas. It's an extremely important matter for substations because we are looking backwards but also forward. So someone said to me yesterday, and I can't remember who said that in 2018 I was in Paris presenting about an Australian survey about SF6, where I reported that Australia is happy with SF6 and we're not planning to move anywhere back or forth. So here I was 4 years later talking about actually we are replacing SF6 with non-SF6 gas. So this tutorial was extremely popular, very high attendance, extremely well presented and very, very well documented. Another good tutorial, it's a very topical, again, subject is asset health indices. I'm seeing across the country, part of the convenership, a lot of utilities coming up with very smart way of using this data of health in planning, management, and equipment replacement. So again, very high attendance, 260 people. The other one was about 290, so very good attendance on our activities. And there was another one, if I have it here. You probably think, why is this such a topical thing, knowledge sharing? But SCB3 identified this as a major issue in training the young generation. So they put together a working group looking at how we transfer knowledge to the new generation. So this was a really good tutorial as well. About 65 people attended on a Friday morning. I think that was the last day of the Paris. So this is in summary what we have done in Paris as a study committee. This is the structure of B3, very similar to the other ones we've seen today. We sit on 4 pillars. So our pillars look at the key topics of discussion. So you have the concept and development on the left side, substation developments. Then we have gas insulated, air insulated, and substation management. At the top of the org chart, you will probably see, similar to the other ones, we have the strategic advisory groups. And something that you haven't probably seen before, we have 2 additional things there. We have a quality assurance team, and I'm not sure if other panels have that, but essentially there is a group of people that are actually reviewing from an English and technical point of view all the papers that are produced within B3. And that is led by Terry Krieg, John Finn, and Colin as well. On the right side of the org chart, you will see another good position there. It's called Tutorial Advisory Group. So Hugh Cunningham is leading and planning across every year what tutorials we are going to run and how we're going to logistically do that. So that's a very key role for the success of our B3. The color coding on this chart shows how many working groups we have. Yellow are continuing. The one with the red frame are new, and the color coding, the blue and the gray, showing the ones that we lead the group and all other groups lead the working group. And we have a special project, and that special project is actually to develop this training course I was telling you about. So in a nutshell, this is how we function around the world. We have 47 countries, members of our panel. This is a list of our active working groups, and someone else said that today we're not as active as we used to be. There are many reasons why, and we're not here to talk about it, but we have seen a small decrease in the activities on working group in the last 2 to 3 years. New brochures. This year we've issued 3 new brochures. Asset health indices, very popular, designed for substations connecting battery storage systems. I was actually a member of that working group. And then service continuity for GIS above 52. So these were the new ones. This is how they look like. And these are the tutorials that I was explaining before that Hugh Cunningham is actually organizing and planning across every year. And this is actually a question that we need to put to Cairns 2023, because they do want to run a few tutorials if there are sufficient, logistically sufficient rooms and time and space. New publications, so again, we're waiting for 2 more publications this year. One, you will probably recognize the last one. Steve Palmer is our member, very active. He's convener for 2 or 3 working groups. This is one of them. And then there is one more that is the guidelines for fire risk management in substation. The sad story about that one is our original convener passed away last year, so hence we are delaying that by 1 year. Now, quickly, I haven't seen this in another presentation, as I'm not intending to read one by one, but we actually have already planned our preferential subjects for 2024. And in a way, they all look the same, but a bit different. What is the focus on substation these days? It's seriously looking at this. What does it mean, zero carbon footprint, and what does it mean for substations? Non-SF6 gas switchgear, and what are these new elements in substations like synchronous condensers and battery storage systems? How do we deal with the offshore wind farms to integrate them in substations? What are the electric vehicles doing? What are the hydrogen is another very topical thing. They're extremely heavy in load. I don't know if you had to deal with hydrogen. I already had. Extremely big loads, standing load, but also peak loads. It's just really hard to deal with the power flow through the network. So yeah, 2 preferential subjects for 2024, and I have a couple of slides. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. I have a couple of slides to show you that we actually have for 2023, in conjunction with Cairns, we have Birmingham 2023. And we have proposed, again, new preferential subjects. And this is in May 2023. And then this is, as we already have seen it before, Cairns 2023 preferential subjects, which are really good because they're not that heavy and that so many dot points. So it's really simple, in my view, to submit a paper and sort of be on that topic, So yeah, I actually like simpler preferential subjects, if I could get that. Just quickly about our local activities in APB3. So we have 14 people in our working groups internationally. We actually have increased our activities with Australian standards. We have increased our activity with IECs. So we have members participating to writing the standards. We have 2 members in IEEE as well, working with IEEE documents. And I have actually been nominated last year to take on a working group, but I sort of have to finish this one first before I can go to the next one. So this is, in a nutshell, our local activity. And we had the technical seminar in May. It was very dense, like any other MS Teams seminar, a lot of stuff trying to fit in. We had a very good presentation on fire in substations. Fire in substation becomes an increased issue for us, and I'm sure you have seen in the paper how many transformers caught fire last year. So the seminar in May was different presentation on that, but the big one was on oil and fire in substations. We had 4 people from Australia attending Paris. Our meeting is in this month, on the 24th and the 25th in Perth. We have registered 29 members, a convener and an NGN member, but we have about 3 or 4 specialists which we invite along just to take advantage of their great experience. And we have representatives from everywhere. So I did add BHP there because it's quite unusual for us to have someone from this kind of industry, but they themselves develop their own standards of substations and have very strict rules on safety, and we want to learn from them. So I think this is all I had. Thank you for your attention.